Hey, how's everyone doing on this Tuesday morning? Yesterday, I went over the initial interviews for Dylan and Hunter Johnson. Today, I'm going over the supplemental autopsy findings for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan. On November 16th, 2022, at approximately 7:45 hours, Latah County Coroner Kathy Mabbitt and I attended the 4 autopsies for Xander Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonzalez at the Spokane Medical Examiner's Office. And it's redacted right there, as you guys see, in Spokane, Washington. And the 4 autopsies were all performed by Dr. V, redacted, S, redacted. Gary Tolleson, a detective with ISP, observed 3 of the autopsies, Kernodle, Mogan, and Gonzalez, as he arrived after the autopsy for Chapin was performed. During the autopsies, the following items of evidence were collected: Kaylee Gonzalez DNA card, hand swabs for right hand, wet, dry, left hand, wet, dry, wrist swabs, wet, dry, left as well as wet, dry, forearm swabs, for right, wet, dry, and left, wet, dry. Foot swabs, right, wet, dry, left, wet, dry. Ankle swabs, right, wet, dry, left, wet, dry. Uh, Butt swabs, oral swab, vajayjay swab, head hair, nail clippings, 2 right and left. Neck swab, 2 wet and dry. Handbags, 2 right and left. T-shirt, corner club, nasty and inebriated, black pants. Joe Boxer, gray and black flannel. She had a shirt on that said nasty and inebriated. Silver earring, sock 1, white Adidas, SD photo card, autopsy photos. All the above listed items were released to me by K, redacted, S redacted, on 11/16 at approximately 19:27 hours. Madison Mogan, DNA card, hand swabs, wrist swabs, forearm, foot, ankles, butt, oral, vajayjay, head hair, nail clippings, 2 right and left, neck swab, 2 wet and dry, handbags, 2 right and left, short sleeve shirt, pink pants, black Vandal Russell brand sweatpants, medium, silver rings, 3, hair tie, black, false eyelashes, 2, SD photo card, autopsy photos. All the above listed items were released to me by KS on 11/16 at approximately 19:38 hours. And a Kernodle DNA card, hand swabs, wrist swabs, forearm swabs, foot swabs, ankle swabs, thigh swabs, butt swabs, oral swabs, vajayjay swabs, head hair, pubic hair, nail clippings, 2 right and left, neck swab, handbags, foot bag, 1 left, sweatshirt, Under Armour, gray underwear, Calvin Klein beige, small. Trace evidence, left hand, trace evidence from body bag, SD photo card, autopsy photos. All the above listed items were released to me by KS on 11/16/2022 at approximately 19:49 hours. Ethan Chapin DNA swab, DNA card, hand swabs. Yeah, it's all just typical of what they did to the girls. All of the above listed items were released to me by KS 1116 at approximately 1941 hours. As part of the autopsies, major crime prints were taken from each of the victims by the Spokane County Forensic Unit. Chapin prints were taken on 1116 and released to me by TB on 1116. Kernodle's prints were taken on 1116 and were released to me by E on 11/16/2022. Mogan's and Gonzalez's prints were both taken on 11/17 in the morning by CL and LE and were left at the Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office with L. On 11/17, I responded to the Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office and collected Mogan and Gonzalez's prints from A. Major crime prints taken by the following: Ethan Chapin's feet prints taken on 11/16 by forensic specialists. Redacted TB, forensic specialist redacted. LJ, Spokane County Forensic Unit Supervisor. Xana Kernodle's hand and feet prints taken on 11/16 by forensic technician. LE, redacted. S and M, redacted. Forensic technician. See, what here's what's weird. Right here, they take Ethan's feet prints, but right here they take Xana's hands and feet prints. It's kind of weird. Madison Mogan hands and feet prints taken on 11/17/2022 by CL forensic technician and LE forensic technician. Kaylee Gonzalez hands and feet prints taken on 11/17 by CL forensic technician and LE forensic technician. At the conclusion of the 4 autopsies by Dr. V.S., met with Kathy Mabbitt, Gary Tolleson, and myself and told us the following. Ethan Chapin's fatal injuries was from a stab wound under his left clavicle, which severed his subclavian vein and subclavian artery. And also his jugular vein was severed. Ethan only had sharp force injuries. So basically, Ethan was stabbed in the neck. By what it's saying here is he was stabbed in the neck. Yeah, because Ethan Chapin's fatal injury was from a stab wound under his left clavicle, which severed his subclavian vein and subclavian artery, also his jugular. So all those veins are in the neck. So he was basically stabbed in the neck. Xana Kernodle's fatal injuries were from 1 laceration in her right lung and 2 lacerations in her heart. Kernodle had 50 plus stab wounds, mostly defensive. Xana only had sharp force injuries. Okay, now we've heard Steve Gonzalez say that Kaylee had 50 plus stab wounds. So I think Steve got it wrong here because it's saying here that Xana was the one that had 50 plus stab wounds. Madison Mogan's fatal injuries included a left lung laceration and a liver laceration. Madison only had sharp force injuries. Kaylee Gonzalez's fatal injuries included a left lung laceration, a liver laceration, 2 subdural bleeds, and a stab behind her clavicle, which cut her subclavian vein and artery. Kaylee had signs of sharp force injuries, asphyxial injuries, and blunt force injuries. Kaylee had 20 plus stab wounds. Okay. So clearly, Kaylee and Xana got it worse than Maddie and Ethan. So was Kaylee and Xana the targets? And it states right here she had blunt force injuries. And we've all heard Steve say that this person beat her beat her in the face and knocked out all of her teeth. I think with these supplemental autopsy reports, we're finding out who the targets were, because clearly Kaylee got it worse than Madison, and Xana got it worse than Ethan. Yeah, because Ethan's fatal injury was from a stab wound under his left clavicle, which severed his subclavian vein. So Ethan was stabbed in the neck. Xana was stabbed more than 50 times, most defensively. And Maddie, fatal injuries included a left lung laceration and a liver laceration. Madison only had sharp force injuries, and Kaylee had 20 plus stab wounds, as well as blunt force injuries. Quite possibly, Xana and Kaylee were the targets because they both got it worse than the other two. Dr. S said the weapon used was not serrated, single edged, very sharp, and said a lot of force was used by the suspect. I will be uploading Dr. S's final autopsy reports to this case file when they are completed. On November 16th, 2022, at approximately 19:55 hours, I drove from Spokane Medical Examiner's Office to the FBI office located at, of course, it's redacted, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and met with Special Agent Bryant Gunderson. Several of the clothing items collected during the autopsies were still wet and needed to dry in evidence dryers overnight. S.A. Gunderson and I placed the following items in two separate dryers, Dryer 1 and Dryer 2, in the evidence room, and I released the items to Special Agent Gunderson. Special Agent Gunderson signed for the items on 11/16 at approximately 21:02 hours. The items belonging to Gonzalez and Mogan were placed in Dryer 1, and the items belonging to Kernodle and Chapin were placed in Dryer 2. Dryer 1, Kaylee Gonzalez. Handbags 2, right and left. T-shirt, Corner Club, Nasty and Inebriated, black. Uh, Pants, Joe Boxer, gray. And black flannel sock, 1. White Adidas. Okay, where did her other sock go? Because it's only showing her with one sock. Where'd the other sock go? Madison Mogan, handbags 2, right and left. Short sleeve shirt, pink pants, black Vandal Russell brand sweatpants, medium. Okay, so she had a pair of pink pants on underneath uh, her Vandal Russell brand sweatpants. And what they're talking about, handbags, basically it's bags that go over your hands that help protect, like for evidence, like if you have DNA underneath your fingernail. Dryer 2, Xana Kernodle, handbags, foot bag 1 left, sweatshirt Under Armour gray, underwear Calvin Klein beige small. Ethan, handbags 2 right and left, socks 2 Puma brand right and left. I transported the remainder of the evidence items back to the MPD and placed them into the evidence fridge in the MPD evidence room. On November 17th, 2022, in the morning, I drove to the FBI office located in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and met with Special Agent Bryant Gunderson. I removed the dried items from the Dryer 1 and Dryer 2 and packaged them back into their original bags. Along with the items I turned over to Special Agent Gunnarsson, on 11/16/2022, I collected two additional items from Special Agent Gunnarsson: one bag which contained the drop sheet filter and security tag from Dryer 1, and one bag which contained the drop sheet filter and security tag from Dryer 2. S.A. Gunnarsson released the items to me on 11/17/2022, approximately 11:30 at night. I transported these items back to MPD. On November 17th, I worked with TS MPD evidence technician and booked in all of these items into items collected from the autopsies into MPD evidence. D. Vargas. Okay, that was interesting. It really was. Yeah, Steve G saying that Kaylee had 50 plus stab wounds. You can throw that right out the window. You really can. Because that document I just read to you guys and showed you guys clearly stated that it was Xana who had 50 plus stab wounds, mostly defensive, and it was Kaylee who had 20 plus stab wounds, yeah, as well as defensive wounds and blunt force injuries. Like, because he said that this person punched her in the face repeatedly, broke out all of her teeth, and I haven't got into the part where it said that they were gagged, like Steve G has stated they were gagged. So this case is just like freaking insane. It really is, guys. It's insane. From Dylan's saying in the initial interviews that she thought the person was holding a gun, and then it looked like an arrow shaped, which could be a knife. We don't know. And then Bethany saying she heard a firecracker and saw a flash. Well, what makes the sound of a firecracker? A gun. And when the gun goes off, there's a muzzle flash. But clearly Steve G does not know what he's talking about, because his daughter was not stabbed that many times. She wasn't stabbed over 50. She was stabbed 20. And Xana is the one that got stabbed over 50 times, including the self-defense wounds. But Ethan and Maddie didn't get it as bad as them. Ethan got stabbed in the throat. Clearly what it says by the autopsy report. And Maddie only had like 3 or 4 stab wounds on her. So it makes me wonder, with over 50 for Xana and 20 plus for Kaylee, were these two females the target? It makes you wonder. It makes you think who the actual targets were in this case. A lot of people say it was a lot of people say it was Xana and Ethan. A lot of people say it was Maddie or Kaylee. Well, with this supplemental autopsy report, kind of clear to see who the targets were, Xana and Kaylee, because they each had more stab wounds than the other two. Just like Steve G has stated, the injury patterns don't match. Now I can see what he means by that, by the injury patterns don't match. Kaylee 20 plus, Xana 50 plus, Ethan stabbed in the neck. Madison, 4 stab wounds. It just makes you wonder who the real targets were. And reading the autopsy report, my deducement or my conclusion, it was Kaylee and Xana because they both had more stab wounds than the other two. I hope everyone has a good Tuesday. This is True Crime Unleashed. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and click it to all. And leave a comment down in the comment section on what your thoughts about this supplemental autopsy report I just read is to you. Peace. Best of the best.